everyone, welcome back to the channel. This time on the channel we're going to pull the 347 out of the Mazda. Just going to make a mess with the coolant while I try and drain it. I think I've got that tray. I need to go over the motor and figure out why this smoking issue is occurring, so I thought I'd pull it out. And I figured the best way to do that is going to be to drop the engine out from underneath with the gearbox still attached to it, rather than trying to pull it out the front on some weird angle and struggle with that. So I've got to take the lower control arms off because they bolt to the engine cross member. Check the engine's all clear at the top, and then you'll see Rachel very shortly come and supervise what I'm doing. Just disconnecting the transmission cooler lines and the shifter and all that. This process, loosening off the gearbox cross member, not completely taking it off. And then we'll put the car down, set up some stands under it, so they're all good. Go to pick the motor up, the car up, forget that I've left the battery cable still attached, and voila! So as you can see, got changed. It's a different day. The motor sat there for a couple of days. And going through the process of picking the motor up to put it on the engine stand so I can start pulling it apart. You see I put the carb plate on and I don't lift it up with the carb plate. I don't really like lifting the motor up with the carb plate, so I pick it up with a sling from either side of the heads. It just makes me feel a bit better. Obviously making more of a mess with coolant because, you know, coolant's great for that. Get the motor and gearbox apart, make more of a mess, try and clean it up. Get the torque converter off, and just putting a bar across the front of the bell housing to keep the torque converter from falling out of the transmission, just in case. It doesn't go anywhere, I don't move the transmission at all, so it shouldn't be a problem. But I got my engine stand set up, move it over to the bench, and start pulling all the accessories off the front of it. So ended up getting the engine apart and found a bit of a groove in cylinder 2. So I'll pop that picture up on the screen. That's about the only damage we found. Everything else looks alright. I am missing the support rails off the pistons, so that's probably not helping. And as you can probably see in this video, I'm in a different shorts because it's a different day. There's also no engine on the stand. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's also no engine in the car. Took it round to a lad my dad knows. He's builds race boat motors. And he had a pretty impressive, like 3,000 horsepower Pro Charged motor sitting on a stand in his little engine room that he's working on at the moment. Had a bit of a chat to him. We took the block round. He's been over it. We're going to go over and measure some stuff next weekend. The bearings all look okay. So rotating wise, it's fine. It's just that bore in cylinder 2. So looking to bore the cylinders another 10th hour over. So go to a 4-inch 40th hour bore. So that means new set pistons, rings, and so that means pistons will come with support rings. He's going to try and source a set of pistons for me, so they'll be the same compression height and all that, so it'll all fit. He knows all about that stuff. I'm going to help him out as much as I can, which is a great opportunity for me to learn as much as I can, and might even have a bit of a sit down and a bit of a chat about future engine prospects for this car. I'd like to put the motor back together and do another 2 seasons with it as it is. That'd be great, and doing this work should do that. Maybe even just chuck it on a methanol now. It does mean I probably won't be racing much this season in the 99. Rachel's offered to let me pilot the SS in street, so I could go do that still, which would be fun. It'd be nice to see how that runs with me driving, even though Rachel's probably faster than me anyway. Speaking of the SS, we got it running. We have a new water pump in it, threw it back together, started it, runs fine. We've just been going over the tune a little bit in HP tuners and the VCM scanner and editor software. The O2 gauges are in there and it's working great, so it'll be good to see how that pans out. It does look like it's running a little bit lean at cruise, which is okay. I've adjusted the idle a bit because it was idling at like 1,000 RPM. I've managed to get that down to 900 and it's quite comfortable idling there, so that's all good. While the engine and stuff's out of the car, I've been working on the steering, the cross member and the steering. So that's all welded up now, it just has to be painted. And I'm making a little bit extra clearance in the tunnel for the gearbox shield. So if we go over here and have a look, you can see my shield's been rubbing, and it's because this gearbox mount hangs through here. You can see where it's been rubbing on the gearbox mount. So I'm just going to cut this section of that out. Gearbox mount's further back in this instance anyway. And a couple other things we're going to work on. Going to do some wiring changes and add a couple of new toys to the car. So now I've got a chance to do all that. Yeah, so car's going to be out of action for Rocky Nats. Unfortunately, I would love to take that thing to Rocky Nats. It'd be a lot of fun to just cruise it around for the street parade, hit street drags with it. At the end of the day, it is a race car, not a street car, so and I've got to get this engine sorted around. I can't cruise around blowing smoke everywhere. So we're going to swap over, we're going to take SS. I reckon the SS will still be a lot of fun. It's a pretty powerful car, turbo 400. Got a set drag radials there for it, so it's going to do alright in the street drags. It's a little bit more comfortable to drive around than that thing is. Plus I don't have a passenger seat in it at the moment, so. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hopefully I can show you some of the motor building stuff, and I guess keep it shiny side up off the walls, and I'll see you trackside.